See, look at this. Doesn't this seem like more impersonal? Like, I don't know. It seems more like I'm just sitting here lecturing somebody or something. I don't know. I like it when I'm up close. They're like, hey, we're talking. So, anyways, it may seem strange that I lean in all the time, but, and what the hell? Like, man, that other one I had, I'm so disappointed it broke. God, I love that one. That I'll get it. I'm gonna replace it once I, I've just got the next check to come. So I gotta turn this light down too. There is so I don't know. There's just this weird. To me, it looks like this weird fog in front of me or something. But you can see, like right there, you can see the light thing coming through. So I don't know, more of this weird reality as it falls apart. Like, honestly, I just saw this video. I haven't hardly seen any. Last night, Stella all of a sudden woke up. She woke up a couple times, but I don't know. It was she didn't try and wake me up, I guess. I don't know. It seems weird. Like last night seems weird all of a sudden. I don't know. We get up at 3 o'clock. All of a sudden she came up and started trying to kiss me and lick my face. And so I was like, oh no, stop, I'm sleeping. Like in grumpy tone. And so she turned and she walked off and she went and sat by the door. And I was just like, oh, son of a bitch. And so I was laying there. I just want to go back to sleep. It is one of those days. And I wonder if it does have, because now I'm starting to pay attention. I swear to God, last time I said this happened, it was a full moon. And somebody just told me it was a full moon. So I don't know. Damn it. I always forget to, so I get distracted when things pop up. But anyway, so at 3 o'clock in the morning, she comes over, she does that, and then she goes to sit by the door. So I was like, oh, fuck. So I get up and I go let her out, and she stayed out. Just stayed out and stayed out and stayed out. And I was like, what the hell? And so I went and looked, and it was like she kept hiding. She was hiding all over the place. And I was like, what in the hell? So I'm like, I keep apologizing. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. And I keep trying to apologize. And I don't know. It was kind of like something was concerning her. And so she kept going and like patrolling around and stuff. And I followed her out like if she was trying to show me something. Because I kept going out there. She was out there for hours. She didn't come in for 6 hours. And then when she came in for a couple minutes, and then she got up and she went back out. And so anyways, then she came in, I think it was like 11 or something like that. And like I'd have to put together all the time, and I like write it all down. So anyways, if you're trying to put together the time, I don't know. It was because she went out at 3. She came in for a few minutes. Maybe it was like around 9. And then she went back out. And then she came in like around 11, I think. And took some medicine and went to sleep. And so I went back to sleep. And then like at noon, woke up. And it was super sunny. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. We're sleeping away the day. Even though it was like, fuck, up in the middle of the goddamn night. And then... so I went outside to put the furniture cushions back on, and it's cold as shit. So fucking cold. And in South Carolina, a big ass storm just came in and brutalized them with hail. Like it went through windows. Oh my God. If you see the footage, it's crazy. Like there's holes in people's windshields. Their cars are all dented. It caused a big old fucking thing. And it is right in the line of that weird anomaly thing where they're saying, is this the same storm that came from Africa? Which, I still don't know what the hell's going on with that. I mean, you got some people saying, it's Godzilla. And then I kept thinking it was some sort of craft or something. But you know, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it's CERN and it's this. I mean, we got fucking everything you can think of, you know, so it's just like, who knows? I mean, we'll see. These crazy storms, like, I mean, are they selling us an idea so we focus on that, and then they're hitting us with HARP and stuff? Like, I don't know. Like, fuck. It definitely has to do with that, though. Definitely has to do with disclosure and how they've messed with the skies and stuff. But I think it's going to even be more and bigger than that. This is driving me crazy. Like, I can't see it very good. Like, see my own self very good. Well, I can't see very good anyway. But I do think my eyes are getting better. I definitely think my eyes are getting better. I just think that they've got, you know, they were a lot of damage done to them. And putting the castor oil on, which I've been doing for a while, and people keep saying, like, that's so good for your eyes. It makes the floaters go and all that stuff. So, you know, I've been doing that, and I didn't even know before I was doing it. That's how I say, like, some of the stuff I do, it's just, I don't know the benefits when I start doing it. I just feel guided to do it, and then I'll hear about the benefits after. So anyways, then she came in and we went outside, and I put the cushions on. It was way too cold. I couldn't stay outside. And she stayed outside for a while, but now she came in, you know, but she was kind of whining. Like, I know she's uncomfortable. Like, if I start rubbing her back, she gets real uncomfortable. She even, like, turned her head, like, oh no, that was on her leg. Like, that thing, the weird growth thing, whatever it is, which I'm sure it would have been called cancer at some point, because I see them on other dogs and stuff, and they say cancer, but then when you go and do more research as to what that is, then it's like, well, the thing to do is to do the cleanse, so keep doing those things. But it had started because it was like shriveling up and just like disappearing altogether, just going back into just normal skin. And then it started puffing back out again the other day. And so then I don't want to put any of the black salve stuff on it, because then it's like, oh, is that drawing it there? Because maybe she needs to draw whatever it is inside so that her body processes through it and kills whatever it is too. So I don't know, you know. But I soaked it again, and then it opened again right away, and it was making her uncomfortable. So I think the salt and the Epsom salt, when it's already kind of raw or something, I would assume. And so it opened again, and this time it was just like blood coming out. And so I was like, man, it's like all of the gross stuff has come out of it. It's got to be clean inside, you know, like, I keep hearing this lady in my head, like from the, anyways, okay, so anyways, then, it started shriveling back up, so it's getting really small again, but now, like, on the other side of her leg, that is where I started to touch, and she was like, didn't want me to touch. So I don't know if it is because it seems for sure her back's hurting, and that causes like sciatica and nerve shooting going down in your back, down in your leg. And so that is what I'm thinking it probably is, but like for her to do that right by there, it makes me nervous. But that is how the programming goes. Like, I swear to God, you just got to keep telling yourself to trust the natural, keep going towards natural. I just saw a video of a guy, young guy too, in the midst of all his chemo. He's in the hospital and he's super sick, and you know, you're under such attack with your body. Like, people get so freaked out to do a cleanse when they think like that's an attack, but then they're willing to take these chemicals that almost kill them. And you know, the horse paste, like I've been taking it all week going up to this, because I just want to be like totally cleansed. I want to be really I get my optimum for my healing, because it's going to be, you know, healing. I got to put my mind together of healing these muscles. And I keep noticing now, because you know what's going to go down is how much you use those muscles. Oh my God, now I can really get why they're saying like you have to stay like this. You're not allowed to move. And even this, you feel this muscle moving. It's like, pay attention. It's weird how much stuff you do. And these muscles are used a lot. So yeah, I'm going to have to really, well, I'll focus my mind and keep focusing on healing it and healing it and healing it. But an important part of healing is having your body be at its optimum. So to not be struggling and fighting with other sickness or anything. So your body can go directly towards what is, you know, what it's got to deal with. And it can just focus and focus and focus. You know, another thing, this is kind of strange, but, and I know I've said something about this before, but I heard this girl do this video, and she said she hasn't had an orgasm in 3 years, and she's spiritual. And there's a whole spiritual movement towards, you know, it is like, what is the word that's coming into my head? It's like, decline, no, DC, no, it's like, keeping your body, like, not, oh my gosh, a fucking roadblock. Okay, so I'll explain it a different way. So if you are caring for your body, mind, body, spirit, and you are thinking of your body's needs and taking care of your body, you're connected to your body, that seems to be a natural thing. What do kids do? Like from the time they're little, they're reaching down there, you know, to the place that feels good. Well, there's a place that came into our, we came in with that feels good, that's our own connection. When you share it with somebody else, that's a whole nother thing. And that's where people are all jacked off on this whole thing of thinking like, it's for that. It's for you. And it's weird is like when there's these group of people who say, cut yourself off from that, cut yourself off from your body, and they're saying to put that energy back in. Well, the weirdest thing to me is I've never felt like that energy ever leaves me. Like, I don't feel like it's just like, no, it's, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't feel depleted from that experience at all. I feel like it is like to me, like there's an energy that is there and like a pulsating energy or something. And when you do that, it releases it and it feels like, the tension is all gone now. Like, it's like a release of tension. And like your body is all this going through it all the time. And then these people, they decide like, oh, well, if you want to be close to God, you got to keep that in there. It's like, I don't know, that seems like you are denying yourself. That's what it is, like denying yourself of this natural act. Like even when little kids are down there like grabbing, you know, their business, and you're like, shame on you, shame on you. I from the time my kids were little, with the first one, I already had, I don't know where I had heard it before, but it was like, never shame them, just tell them that that's private. You need to go in your room if you're going to be doing that. And so that's what I did. But, you know, I mean, Jesus Christ, I wasn't even allowed to, because I always, ever since I was a little kid, I don't know, maybe it's because my hands are damn ass cold all the time, but I would lay on my side and I would put my hands between my legs and just keep my hands between my legs. They weren't like up in my business or anything. They were just there between my thighs, and I would just lay like that. And I would get in trouble. Like, get your hands out from between your legs, like you're like something's wrong with you or something, you know. And my parents, maybe, I mean, well, my dad's not here, but I don't even know if my mom would even remember that at all. But all the time. And I still like to sit like that, like if I'm laying or something, I still do. Like, I don't know, maybe it's a position that we go into when we're babies, you know, and we're all cuddled up, because I do like to go in the fetal position, and it feels good, like a roly-poly. Like, I always thought roly-polies were the coolest because they could just do that. And so I have always done that. And anyways, but to me, it is like you're denying your body of some, pretty fucking cool ass shit. Like, it's probably the best invention ever made. And then people are like, no, shame on you. You can't do it. Don't do that. That's releasing your energy and stuff like that. And to me, I feel like it is like, I don't know, it's become fetishy or something, like where people think that they need to have like this great, wild experience to have this explosive thing or something. I think it's more about connecting to yourself and focusing on yourself. And then when you get to the point of sharing that experience with somebody, that's more sacred than than the energy we've put towards that before. And so it's now, just as I just saw this video, this young kid saying, what happened? Why did everybody quit drinking? And this older person saying, because that's what they want you to do, is they want us drunk all the time, so we're not paying attention. And, you got to be paying attention, like what's going on in the world. And, but, that whole movement towards, that more healthier lifestyle of just, because there was definitely a period of time, fucking 80s and 90s, probably, for different generations and different times, but there was like a very, just get drunk and party and ignore the world. And so anyways, but that energy is changing. And and there's a lot of people speaking out on the dating and all that stuff. So a lot of people are going in these directions. Like I said, everybody's going to go towards these certain directions that are going to be a lot healthier. It's going to make our reality a lot more tolerable, because it is, it's pretty intolerable when there's just so much horrendous shit going all the fucking time, and so much selfishness, because the crazy shit is, due to so many people's selfishness and inability to have compassion and empathy for other people. And so it's just nonstop shenanigans, toxic behaviors. I literally just saw a video where a girl said her fella broke her femur, broke a bone or something, or hit her, did something. And so she's asking the public if she should still marry him. And comments, every single one was, hell no. It's like, oh my gosh. But I know, I've been there before. And you want to believe them. Oh, they'll never do it again, and all that stuff. So what I said, the signs are all around you. If you ignore the signs, the lessons, they go for years. And they're no fun. So pay attention to the signs. But back on the orgasm thing. So it seems like, dating and all that stuff, and in our society, it became super pervy. Like, everything has sex. And so people, became more fetishy. Whatever became more and more accepted. So whatever, like, weird thing that somebody would think of was like, well, we could do that. And, and people started needing more in order to even have one. And like I've heard, like, especially guys who, go on to certain formatted experiences, that then if they aren't doing that hardcore stuff that they watch, that they can't, that it's all messed up. You have to pull yourself back in. You have to, you have to work at it. It's up to you to make the changes. You don't go further. You pull yourself back, and it's going to be a lot more work. Just like losing weight, it's work to make changes and go the other direction. But as far as you go out of control, you got to pull yourself back into control. But anyways, as a spiritual being, my own self, I would say, it's up to you, what you feel, what you want to do. Like, I know a lot of people who would never touch that business, would never do anything about that business. And I wouldn't say that they're more connected to their spirit because of that. And I'm sure it's all due to, due to, no, wait a second, because I have a bunch of words coming in my mouth, in my head. Intention. I'm sure it has to do with your intention. You know, if you're in denying your body, but you got to ask yourself, why? Why am I denying this part of myself? Why am I ignoring this part of myself? You know, because, you know, I believe mind, body, spirit, and your body's talking to you, and if your body's telling you that there's a lot of pinned up energy there, like, trust it. I'm like, I don't know. But everybody's got to figure out their own stuff. And then one thing too is Allison Coe put on a video today, and it was funny too because she said that she had been trying to do some other ones, but she just kept having problems. See, that is how the universe works to me. Like when something is like when you keep having problems, it's trying to turn you in a different direction. And so she didn't put those ones on, but she said, funny enough, this one that she had just started working on, it just flew. And so she said, like, I feel like this information they really want out there. So, you know, this one went on real quick. And it was weird too, because when I started listening to it this morning, it was like constant disruption. It was so weird. And I was losing interest in it. I was like, fuck, I'm not even... just kind of like losing interest. But then I sat down and see, look, poor baby girl. I sat down and started see, I try and watch and see like if she's limping around and stuff, like with her legs and her back. I try and figure out where the pain is exactly coming from. But anyways, so I sat down, I listened to the rest, and then I got a couple of things that I thought was really interesting out of it. One thing was that about the thyroid. I had not thought about that before because there is so fucking many women with thyroid issues, and that is right at your throat chakra. It has to do with you not speaking your truth, not being real, not being honest and stuff. And I had said that in a video on TikTok, and somebody said, well, I think it has a lot more to do with nutrition. And I was like, well, it has to do with both. That's the thing, is when you start going more into mind, body, spirit, and going in the direction and stuff of changing directions in life, then you start to realize it's not just what you're taking in, your energy, like your energy. And so when it gets clogged up and it can't move, just like the guy talking about like the lymph, like all the drainage and stuff, which we're not really flesh and blood, but see, energetically we really do have this system that is it's kind of weird because like we are energy, and you need these two parts to energy, the AC/DC part, which we have both that in there, but like we have a current, we have a DNA, we have an imprint, we have like there's more to us, to our structure. And it's not flesh and blood, but there is like, but it's kind of like you would only see it at a certain vibration, a certain level. It's not like, you know, that we walk around looking like computer chips or something. No, we walk when we're around in our soul, we look like light and color and movement. And then when somebody looks at you who knows you, they know you as the souls that they know you from, like their experiences with you. And so you could have a bunch of different people see you differently when you're in your soul body. And so but that is more of what we are, is this energetic kind of circuit board or something. And so when we aren't working right, see, we get these clog up things. And so your chakra is it's I don't know, like an exhaust system or something. Like it's important to have your chakras in alignment for your energetic optimum. And so when you go through the different ones, see, like when you're down in the lower ones, you're just in trauma, you're just in pain, you're reactive, you don't think for yourself, you're just a product of your environment. then when you start feeling uncomfortable about that, and you start feeling like, you want more, you expect more, it's like a change in you that occurs, then you start moving your chakra up. And as you move up, you have to go through experiences and memories and releases to heal those areas that were blocked. So the things that blocked you could be some past life of a heartache and painful thing, and maybe your kids were killed and you had to struggle through your whole life. There's different things of why you have issues, and we're here to work on issues. So then when you start working your way up, you will be faced with different traumas. Different people may approach you and trigger something to help bring to the surface whatever it is you need to release. And so that's why it's better to be more present in that energy so you understand what's going on. Otherwise, you miss those, and then you have to wait for another one. But you have lessons there still when you miss your triggers. There you still have lessons, because there is always the looking back. You always have this ability to look back, but don't get stuck when you're looking back, because so many people look back and then they get mad at themselves. Well, I should have seen that sooner. I was right there. I should have seen it. No, you're going to see when you're supposed to see. The other stuff is lessons. The other things is go deeper into it. Why wasn't I? What was I doing? What was distracting me? What was I thinking about? Why was I in denial? Why was I in cognitive dissonance? All those things. That was trippy looking. I was like whoa, that was weird. That was weird. Anyways, so let me think. I was just thinking about the neighborhood, and yesterday was so fucking intense. It's a lot calmer today, but there's weird energy. It's like still getting up at 3, and I don't know. I feel like there's just weird energy around. Like, I don't know if that's because like there's gonna be a volcano, an earthquake, or what the fuck. You know what I mean? It's like, ugh, I just don't know. But anyways, so when you move up and you start, approaching life in a different way, yeah, you got to go through these different connection releases so that you can move up. And then when you start moving up, like I said, you get up in your heart, you start feeling a lot of compassion, you start understanding people different, you start like looking at things different. And so it has, great impact. It's like a jewel that you get. And but then there's more lessons, because there's always more lessons, and you can't go to the harder lessons before you do the easier lessons. So a lot of people, they get really put off, like, I've been healing, I've been doing this, I learned this, and then I get hit with more. It's like, you got to think these are all things you're releasing. It's not like you just heal one thing and then all of a sudden it's like, yay, I won, I healed something. No, it just opens the door for more. Like, you got to think, like, you're billions of years old. You got some shit that you're healing. And it's promoted for you to be able to see it in this life. So there's a lot of experiences that are there to bring up these certain things that you have gone through in other lives. And so that is, it's important to look at those things and see them. I don't know, see them for what they are, because so many people get caught up in the drama of this 3D world, and then they don't use their lessons for what they're there for. And so anyways, it's just part of re-looking at what is going on in the world. Look at it in a bigger a broader perspective, not in the limitation of just this little life that you got, just this little life. No, it's much bigger than that. And so then when you move through all of that releasing, whatever that you've had through your different lifetimes of heart trauma and stuff like that, and then you start feeling so much more connected, and you don't, it's like a release of so much judgment when you can have compassion for other people. in whatever they're experiencing, and to not be judgmental against them. And so then as you heal all that, because it has a lot, it has to do with your biases and all that stuff. So anyways, so you go through all that and you heal all that, and you get up here in your throat chakra, and that is where you have to start speaking your truth. And that is where so many of these women, and it's crazy because there's so many women with thyroid issues. And so that energy block is there's a stifling that happens, and it happens a lot to women. Like there's the same kind of emotional stifling that happens to young boys, like, oh, don't cry, be a man, get yourself together, don't act that way, don't be a little pussy ass bitch, you know. Like, but some boys got it bad. I mean, some boys got from, you know, showing emotions. That's way too girly. But for girls, we were always kind of trained to not hurt other people's feelings. There's always prioritizing everybody else except for yourself. You know, always thinking about everybody else. Don't think about yourself. That's selfish. And so people stifled their own voice. They didn't speak up for themselves because they couldn't hurt somebody's feelings, for God's sakes. They couldn't speak up. Like, they had to constantly put themselves back. They had to constantly reel themselves in, not speak their truth. And it got way too comfortable for, this is why this is like this Phoenix rising for the divine feminine. Like, we're going into the time of the divine feminine. It's gonna make me cry, man, because think about all of the women who have been stifled for so long, and you think about all these women healing and then getting to the point of speaking your truth. Speaking your truth doesn't have to mean you're a nasty ass bitch. That's not the same. You know, are you a nasty ass bitch? Like, every time you speak, are you just a hateful and you don't give a shit about people? No, because you already healed your heart chakra. So you have compassion. And so you're not thinking in judgment. You're thinking in protection. That is in your divine masculine. That is finding balance in yourself. So things are out of balance. And you cannot just fix things with diet when things are out of balance, because there's an emotional body that is also out of balance. So yeah, you do need to make sure that you are, you know, eating right. And the minerals, you've got to be replacing the minerals, because that's what you are. And so you have to be focused on your what you consume in this society. It just is a mindless consumerism. Oh my gosh, I saw another video. I see so many of these fast food disaster videos. This girl got a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and she saw something hanging out of it, like a little piece of plastic or something, so she started pulling. The thing ended up being like this freaking, as long as your freaking forearm, of a plastic, and it was all, oh my gosh, it was disgusting. And I was like, fuck, that could kill somebody. If you, I mean, dogs aren't supposed to be able to swallow balloons and stuff. If you swallow a big old fucking thing of plastic like that, I don't know, seems dangerous. And there's also a lawsuit going on right now because a little girl who went to Wendys with her softball team, and she ate something that made her so sick that she was in the hospital having seizures. She was in the hospital for almost a month or something. And they had just gone to eat there, and that place has a whole bunch of things from the inspectors. They were under a huge amount of problems. There was mold, rotten food, like, oh, everything you can imagine. And she got so sick after eating that. But that's the thing too, is that, like, when you're learning to take care of yourself, it's learning to, you know, cook your own food and stuff. Like, there's like so much benefits. Like going out to dinner, yeah, that's fucking fun as shit. And getting, you know, people making your food for you and stuff. And I know we'll get back to having, you know, little restaurants and places that we can go and stuff like that. It's like not the end of restaurants forever, but there is a flipping over because of, like, there's just a lot of bad stuff. Like, you know, it wasn't just like a little mom and pop place where people had integrity and stuff. It's just making money and buying bad food that's cheaper. Like, there's a lot of stuff. And the fact that the fast food is put in place to make you sick, and it also to dispose of like it's like fuck that. So anyways, there's a lot of stuff to wake up about that, but anyways, so it's not just what you consume. Like you can, if you are taking in all this nutrition and really taking care of yourself, and you are still feeling, out of joint, disjointed, like things aren't, it's because you got to find balance in you. It's not just the food. Your emotional out of balance gives disease and stuff, mental disease, physical disease, all disease. And so you have to, do the process and speaking your truth. And it takes healing. Like boundaries is such a huge part of it. Is and the tests are intense, man. I can't believe it. Like I would think, oh, I'm doing so good. I got boundaries now. Nope. They'll fucking come in with something else and it's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? And then you think, okay, I did it. I had boundaries. I spoke my truth. I was real. And then, I've learned my lessons. Oh no, it'll come again. It gets harder and harder and harder. Whatever you're here to learn, if another lesson comes, don't get put off and be like, what the fuck? You just got to be like, oh, okay, so I obviously had more plans. I was down in A and B, and I'm headed for Z. So yeah, don't get caught up in thinking that you aren't doing it right. It is that you just have more that you're working on, more that you're healing and stuff. And it is such a big part to learn how to have boundaries and stand up for yourself, for your truth, and not be cruel to other people, but also to recognize when somebody is pushing in on your energy or taking from your energy and is, sucking the life out of you. Is that, you can sit around all day long and, oh, well, those energetic vampires, they're all out to get me. Well, you got to learn something's taking from you. It's trying to show you it's time for you to stand up and say, hey, I know you got a lot going on, but every day when you come and you just talk about it, you're draining me. I can't sit here and just keep building you up every day and trying to tell you everything's gonna be okay. You gotta do those kinds of things. You gotta speak up to say what it is you got to say. Women are notorious for having other people take their energy because of that ability, that skill, that it's a part of the feminine, the nurturing part, the part where you don't want people to feel bad. It's the part that drives you to shut the fuck up. That's why it's out of balance. You got to find that fine line, and it's very in the gray. There's no black and white. So you got to find that sweet spot that's just your spot. It doesn't mean that it's going to be okay with somebody else. If you go ask somebody else, they could say, well, that wouldn't bother me. Why would that bother you? Don't get caught up in that. Yeah, it's not going to bother them because it has nothing to do with their experience. It's bothering you because it's there to teach you something. So you're supposed to learn from your experiences, not just pass it off. Well, I guess I'm just crazy. I guess I'm just stupid. I guess I'm in the wrong. No, you got to listen to yourself. Whatever yourself is telling you, like that person is pushing on me, that person is doing this to me, then that is your opportunity to, speak your truth and to say, and that doesn't mean you're being mean or cruel. You're setting a boundary. And, if it is somebody, there's going to be a lot of this. So I don't know if that's why it's coming into my mind, because there's going to be a lot of this. And this is where you're going to have to learn to set boundaries. Because a lot of people who have been on the healing journey are still on the healing journey. Like, it's not like it's over. It's about to get hit with a lot of stuff. And so when all these people go into crises, when everybody goes in the dark night all of a sudden, and you're going to have a lot of people who are trying to come to you, because especially if you've been doing any healing, you're going to have appearance of light. You're not going to be as bothered and as tortured and traumatized by everything going on. And so that will pull in people's energy like moths to a flame. And so that is your opportunity, is where you're going to have to learn how to set boundaries. And, you know, you may have to tell somebody, you know, I can give you, you know, an hour a week, or, you know, I can listen to this much, but once I feel that it's pulling on me, I have to walk away. You know, you just have to recognize your own self and then be honest. And then don't feel like, oh, see, I'm a weak ass bitch. I should be able to just sit and listen to this person for 12 hours a day. And while they're falling apart, you know, and talking people off the ledge is exhausting. It's very exhausting. And so it is important to learn your boundaries so that you aren't being sucked alive by, you know, energetic vampires. And it's not like that they are on purposely doing it, but they're going to push as far as you let them push. And so it's you who has to learn how to say, well, you know, I've given as much as I can give right now. I'm feeling depleted and I need to go and build myself back up before I have any more to give. And that is not something wrong with that. But see, then that is speaking your truth. And the more that you can get into being able to speak your truth, the more your thyroid will heal. Like, I hadn't ever even thought about that, but I got that out of the Allison Coe thing. This isn't my genius thing. I was just like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. So it is so important in all these different things. And then as you, you know, work your way up through the chakras, like I said, once you get up in the crown chakra, it's just this opening your mind, you know. And she talks some about channels and fractals and walk-ins and some of this stuff. Like, whenever I hear different spiritual people talk, like, I can hear what some people say, and but to me, everything that we understand is about our understanding, is how we look at things. And so we don't all have to look at everything the same way. We don't all have to agree. We have to just allow people to understand things at their own understanding. And, you know, and I mean, who knows, like, who, you know, I mean, we don't have the actual thing of like who's right and who's wrong. I think it's just all at our understanding. I don't think that there is a right or a wrong. There is just what you know and what you know, what you know. And the more that we share with what we know, the more that expands our understanding, which opens up more. But the more it opens up, you got to remember not everybody is there. And so a lot of your learning is to not be judgmental and hateful and thinking that everybody has to be at the same place as you. Everybody is at the place they're supposed to be. There isn't a one set place. There isn't like what is that thing? A finish line. There isn't a finish line where we all have to cross the same finish line. No, this is your own independent journey to self. And I mean, you know, this could just be one experience towards it. Like, it's so vast in, you know, like, it's not even really worth trying to expand on, because it can go in so many different directions that it's almost like fantasy. And so it is just, you know, the more you open your mind, you know, the more your mind opens, the more you, and then you start seeing, like, it just as changes your perspective about a lot of things. But anyways, when she was talking about like the walk-in thing, is I had thought about that before. Like, I was like, man, maybe I never got out of the hospital. Maybe I was so miserable. Maybe I was a walk-in and stuff. But she had a walk-in experience. So this girl in this one that Allison Coe does, when she was like 19 or something. And so she's explaining all of that different stuff. I'm not a walk-in. I know my experiences. I went through my experiences, and I went through my experiences to talk about how to heal, how, you know, because you have to go through it to be able to experience it. I'm not just talking about stuff I read in a book. I'm talking about like figuring shit out for myself. You know, just like figuring out, like I've talked about before, figuring out how to control the concept of fear, and how fear becomes, somebody's calling, fear becomes its own thing. Like it builds up. And so it's you that has to control the fear. Otherwise, the fear just gets fed like a beast. And, you know, because when I was so scared of needles, I could have quit nursing school. I could have said, nope, I can't do it, left and went and, you know, did something else and ran from that fear. But instead, I went in and I learned, I figured out in my own head how to control the fear, how to minimize it, how to focus my mind somewhere else away from the fear and allow the and then the fear diminishes because it isn't being fed. So you feed your fears. It's like you keep them alive. But anyways, it's like going through different experiences. And this is the thing I think is so important, is why people need to challenge themselves more. Like people want to play it safe. They don't want anything to happen. They don't want anything. And I'm like, knock on wood, because I don't want anything to happen when I just want to get on my drive and get home. And like, ugh. I feel like it's super intense. Like everything is so intense, and I'm fucking driving hours to Seattle and then turning around and driving back, and it's like, fuck. I don't know. It just feels like, oh, I just want to hurry up and get it done and get it back. And there's so much stuff going on in the world. We'll see what, you know, tomorrow opens up with. But anyways, there's so much stuff going on, and just I feel like I really feel like there was a reason now while I've kept feeling pressure to move up the date, because fuck, 3 more like in the later in May, because it would have been like a whole nother month away. Because I think the other date was May 23rd, and so that fuck, there's so much stuff going on. Like, ugh, I just want to hurry up and get there and get back. But anyways, the whatever I was gonna say is but don't, like, I could sit here and just stress myself out. I could sit here and just go over everything that could go wrong. And anything that comes to my mind, I take it from the dark energy is trying to interfere, because they want to keep me tense. They want to keep me, you know, but I have the other side, and they keep telling me, trust, it's going to be great. It's going to be fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry. And so I keep listening to them. But the other ones, they're always like, yeah, but what about this? Well, this could happen. And they'll just keep on harassing you. And so then it is like, you know, where I'm always like, no, I'm not fucking listening to that. But when it gets brought up in your mind and stuff, don't just think like, oh, that's me. I just can't let it go. Obviously, that's what's going to happen because I can't let it go. But you got to keep in mind, no, there's a energy of harassment, and the energy around you. Like, people don't realize like that the energy around you is like, I don't know, like ghosts or something. Like, it's just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not there. It's there. It's real. It's just not at a vibration that you can see. Man, and this is getting even more. That's so weird. Time at 3 o'clock. The sun is over there. Like, that's so weird. Oh no, everything is weird. I swear to God. But anyways, and I keep having this cloud thing, like, it keeps being in the bathroom, and I do the hair videos to show on the update on TikTok as this energy thing around. I don't know if it's around me or if it just, this energy that's around here picks up or something. This, I think, is something to do with the light and how it's moving around. Like, I don't know. Like, there's weird things with our atmosphere. That's for sure. And I feel like it's kind of like if you think about, and think about this too, because the pole is, if you think about the toroidal field, so the pole would be here and here, where they are saying like it's here and here, and like, I don't know, like I saw this person doing it the other day on this map, and it was saying like it was over here and over here, and it's moving, but I see it more of like it's like this, like it's going down, and so to me it is kind of like this, like the firmament and stuff, like that is like the expansion up here. And so to me, it's kind of like this is like sucking in or something, like it's collapsing on itself, and it's like going down. But then there's this big blowback. This big blowback is like, to me, this shift where everything changes. And I, I don't know. I don't think that means our thing is going to flip inside out or something like that. But energetically, yeah, it's going to flip completely, going the other direction. And everything is going to be, everything that we think of is in the upside down, where things just don't make sense, is going to flip. Where when you wake up and you start being like, well, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. And then when it flips, though, then it's going to be like everything is going to go back to making sense. Like it's going to be a realness. And but I still, it feels like the atmosphere or something is kind of collapsing down, like the firmament's coming down, the atmosphere, and everything is so much louder. Like, fuck, things are so loud out here by me. It is so loud. Like cars going by, motorcycles, all sorts of stuff out on the highway now. It's just loud. The planes are so loud, and you hear them for so long. And then I think all of these different things going on up in the sky, which I saw one video where a guy was saying that all this stuff going on in the sky is really happening, and they're trying to bring up Project Bluebeam so that people think it's artificial. But you start looking at everything as like it's really happening, because that is going to be a big part. Like it's going to, like, I believe the firmament's going away, but it's because we raise our vibration. It's because we, stop being so hateful and combative. So I don't know still if that's like, that could still be ways away. It could be something, though, is going to happen that is going to change people's direction. And so I don't know how it's all going to go. I just know that everything is going to be changing, and our landscape, everything is going to be changing. And but the energy is going to make an abrupt switch. Like that is the thing that's going to set everybody into their dark night, because it's like they're going to flip upside down, because they are just too locked into this reality, and this reality is going to fall apart, and that's going to flip their worlds upside down, and the things that they were willing to accept and all that. And so that's where people are going to go into this dark night. Like they're going to be so mad at themselves, so disgusted at themselves. They're going to feel shame. They're going to feel stupid. Like there's going to be a huge thing, and it's going to be real. It's not going to be like people just pretending. No, it's painful, but you have to go through the process. You have to process through of accepting yourself and realizing that these were all lessons for you to learn from, and that you weren't doing anything wrong. You were here to learn and to grow. And so now you have to take your lessons and stuff and to understand that when you go through those things, those challenges are what defines you. So that is how you understand who you are. You are the mere definition of your experiences and the people you meet. That you're the product of that. And so that is it's kind of weird. It's kind of like you are, it is like this to be able to see yourself, But it is like it is needing these other reflections to understand yourself. It is like a fun house mirror thing, to get all these opportunities to see yourself in every direction, to understand yourself. And so that is what you got to understand about the things when you start going back over it and get mad at yourself, is to understand that that was all there so that you could learn to understand yourself, so you could see yourself. And so that is what you're supposed to be doing, is just learning to understand yourself, see yourself. But the biggest thing is about accepting yourself. That's what it's all about, is learning to accept yourself, because all these people are mad at themselves and are disgusted at themselves and hate themselves, and they wish they could be someone different, and they wish they were born in somebody else's life, and like all of that. Like, you just think about that with all these people and why it has to occur, so that people can learn to love themselves and take care of themselves. And another thing too, in the Allison Code thing too, she was saying about the higher self and all the fractals, and you're channeling all this information from different fractals of you, which, you know, I don't know, that's why I say it's like it's all up by a spiritual representation of how you understand the world in the spiritual world. As to me, I always see it as the connection to the channeling is when you open yourself up to the vibration where there's all this different energy, that there's, you know, it's like opening yourself up inside of a brain or something with all the thoughts. And so you get more information. But I can't just say, like, you know, oh, well, it's my higher self and my fractals, is because through my experience, that just was not how I experienced it. My experience began, you know, like I've said a zillion times, when I was 3. And so, I mean, very limited even understanding of things at that point. But it was very specific, and it was very, I've never forgotten it. And I can see it was as clear as day. And but that them talking to me, and how I've always talked to them, and it was very much different energies. And throughout my, you know, time of existence, of how I understand the different energies, the different souls, the different vibrations, and you know, and that there's a lot of this low vibrational energy that is very toxic to us if you allow it to be. If you don't have any idea or definition of self, and you think that you are your thoughts, and every thought that comes into your mind is what you are, then that is the level that you're at. And so you have lessons to learn to level up from that level. And there's a lot of people who are at a like primitive level. Is why religion is going to be such a big part of this breaking free, because it has so much to do with holding people back, and how much, like, it's very weird too, is because it's like, I don't know, it's like so artificial, because people is like, okay, well, I'm a Christian and I believe in Jesus, so therefore this is what I am. And but then it wasn't like, there's a lot of people who weren't what they were representing. I mean, that's a big part of what's going on in our society, is like everybody just put on a mask and pretended they were something when they weren't. And so a huge part of this, like, you know, we're better than you because we've got the Holy Spirit on our side, but never to question like the energy of what the Spirit is that you are worshiping. To never consider, like, well, is it more about love or is it more about division? Like, that you have to look at what you worship. And so, but people just jump on board of like, well, this makes me a good person, so, you know. And that is a part of, you know, the upside down in our society, and a part of, you know, what people have to go through and heal and look at. And there's going to be a lot, man. There's going to be a lot. And so and that's a big reason why there's so much of healing before this even happens for a lot of people, because of how much compassion and stuff is going to be needed on the planet for when everybody is really in a dark place. But you got to remember too is the reactiveness is going to promote so much anger and hostility. And so there's going to be a lot of anger, a lot of hostility, and that's already going on as people are purging out this society, is a lot of those heavy emotions, but there's going to be a lot more, because when things flip, you just got to think about like what people say now, how they talk, I mean, what they focus on, and how all of a sudden that's going to fall out from under them. And then it's going to be like, oh my gosh, well, where did I come up? Why was I so sure about that? Why was I thinking this? It's like, because you're not trusting, you're not understanding, you're just caught up in the storyline, you're caught up in the scary part of the story, and you are going with that. I mean, that is the part you got to break free from. And the darkness will keep you in there with them. They'll just keep you scared and thinking about everything that scares you. And you are the one who has to keep breaking yourself free. And it's all a part of it. And that is a part of, your crown chakra opening too, is learning about discernment, learning about all the energies that are out there talking. I don't think it's just fractals of yourself. But that can be like what I was talking about before a while back about there's some higher selves that have a whole bunch of experiencers, and so there's all different levels of higher selves and stuff. So that's why I'm saying it's not from my experience, but that's not saying that what she's experiencing isn't right. And that's why you've got to tune into your own experience, and you've got to get comfortable being comfortable with how you look at things. You can't worry about like if somebody else agrees, or if somebody else understands what you understand. Like that, believe me, I was like, don't even think about that. Whatever you understand is your understanding. And nobody needs to understand what you understand, and nobody can understand something before they understand it. And if you're constantly trying to force what you understand on somebody else, then you're interfering with what they're there to understand, because they've got their own path. And so that is like a toxic behavior, to try and get somebody else to give you the confirmation that you need to find in yourself. So hopefully that makes sense, what I'm saying, because it makes sense to me. And so and then I can only share, how I see it. And so anyways, those things are important, to not get caught up in feeling like you need to please other people, that other people need to give you some kind of confirmation that you're right or wrong or anything. You've got to get comfortable in yourself and quit demanding these things from other people. Just think of that as like your energetic vampirism, when you need other people to constantly give you confirmation, because that is a big part of, the spiritual encounter, because it is so vague and it is so vast, and it is you tapping in on your vibration. And so it's, your unique experience. And so anyways, that's just a part of it. And it's all the different things are going to, like, I think a lot of people will make a lot more sense for the healing that they've been working on when this stuff starts happening. And then, because I think a lot of people are like, well, I've done all this and all these other people are still asleep. But they're going to see that once the awakening, goes big, that all the things that you have learned through your healing is going to be things that people around you are going to also need to learn. Like, you share ideas, like when people are going through things, you can share ideas about how you've been able to manage yourself and stuff. But it is going to be a big thing, like where people are so hateful and judgmental towards themselves. And it's going to be very sad to see, even though a lot of people think it's going to be like you know, haha, well, they did it to themselves. No, that's your own hatefulness. That's your own judgment. And that is something that will be pushed on you to heal, because you got to get to the point of being like, looking at it in a different perspective over, you know, not right or wrong. And the awakening, it wasn't like everybody was supposed to wake up at this exact time. And every challenge that occurs, everything that you feel is your opportunity to grow. Like, you know, every time that I go walking with Stella and she pushes my patience, it's because I'm there to work on my patience. I'm not there to just control her and be mean to her. I'm there to learn how to develop myself so I can find peace in whatever goes on. You know what I mean? So anyways, when you're working on all that stuff, you got to remember to love yourself and love everyone. That's what it's all about. And have a loving day, because it's up to us to do it. So anyways, I'll talk to you later.